All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back into, dude, I keep saying, I keep wanting to say Friday forecast, Monday morning takeaways because these are so close together. But this is an edition of Monday morning takeaways with my man, Tate. What's up, dude? You ready for the
Hi.
Raiders game? Look at you.
Again, we got Raiders at 3 o'clock hour taking on the hated Chicago Bears, and we're probably going to lose, but I don't care.
Raiders and the Bears. Interesting matchup.
Bears.
Um, well, we got a lot to talk about, or not a lot to talk about. I don't know. I think a lot to talk about. Auburn goes to Texas A&M and loses 16-10. Did not go how I thought. I thought they would lose, but I thought that more points would be scored on both sides. And it turned out that Auburn's defense played another really good game, and Auburn's offense got worse. So
I'm
it
not
didn't exactly
sure
go
how
how I thought.
good a game the defense played. They didn't play bad. They played better than the offense, no doubt. But if you look at the PFF grades, they were marginally better than the offense. I think it was the group got about a 60, something like that.
I mean,
I
I
know
thought
PFF's not the end all be all, but missed a lot of tackles, bro. And I don't know.
I thought they fought. I thought they fought pretty hard.
I
I
agree
thought
with
they
no
gave
doubt.
up some explosive plays. I was surprised when I did the advanced stats. I was surprised that A&M had 16 big plays in that game, which are rushes of 10 yards or more, passes of 15 yards or more. They had 8 of each. I was surprised by that. I didn't know that they had quite that many. Auburn had 1, by the way, so that was 16-1 in the explosive play category. But they stood tall when they needed to. They held Texas A&M to a couple of long field goals that they missed. They got the interception, and so they made some plays there to hold to I think keep things in check. But they did give up 400 yards. But I thought A&M was going to score 30. So for me, Marcel Reed, those receivers, I thought A&M's running backs are pretty good. I thought A&M would get to 30. So for me, in my perspective, 16 was fantastic, and holding them, kind of bending but not breaking at times was good stuff from the defense, from my perspective.
I agree. I thought they fought really hard. I thought they got put in some tough positions and they continued to fight. DJ Durkin has that kind of attitude, and I think this defense really kind of mimics that. So that's a really positive thing. And the offense again did not ever give them much help. Very few long sustained drives to give them an opportunity to rest a little bit. I think Texas A&M was plus 16 or 18 on as far as plays run yesterday, which is to the defense's detriment. I mean, again, they're just having to always overcome these obstacles, and it's increasing pressure and scrutiny on the head coach, who is allegedly the play caller or not the play caller, depending on who you trust. But I don't know, Hoke. I think it's getting to be the late hours here for my man Hugh Freeze. I do, I really do, and I think it's helpful that there's a guy like DJ Durkin who's here, who's been doing a good job, and who's been a head coach. If you want to go ahead and get rid of Hugh, you've got somebody right there who's ready to go.
What are you saying?
No, I'm just saying that's a possibility. I mean, sometimes this happens and you got nobody to go to, but here you do have somebody to go to who I think actually is a good candidate. So I'm tired of Hugh looking so forlorn on the sideline. You know what I'm talking about when they were getting their brains beat in yesterday offensively. He's just over there and just looks sad and solemn, and I don't understand it. That's not what a head coach is supposed to look like. There's not a handbook that tells you what they're supposed to do, but you want to see a guy who wants to fight more than that. And I think he's just almost seems like he's resigning to the point of like, yeah, this is messed up. Can't get it fixed.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
exactly. It's tough.
I don't look. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I feel like so many of my opinions now, and I guess we'll talk about the offense, and just kind of the big picture, because we could sit here and dive into what happened in College Station from an offensive perspective. For sure, penalties killed them. I thought penalties killed them. They should have run the ball more, yes, but man, looking back at when those penalties happened, they were first and second down. I don't want to make an excuse for not running the ball because they should have run more, but it is valid to say those penalties constantly put them behind the chains. And then you could run on 1st and 15. You could 2nd and 15. If you want to run, you can, but you certainly feel like you got to be a little more aggressive when it's 1st and 15 throwing. But the penalties They just destroyed drives over and over and over again in that game. But I say that to say, I was going to ask you, and you kind of already went there, was like, do you want to talk about the specific game, or do we just want to go big picture? Because I think the reaction from fans is they're just so fed up with seeing this type of offensive performance that I agree with you. There are a lot of people that are over Hugh Freeze right now. I think there's fans that are over him. There's people that matter that are over him. And so I don't mind talking about that too. I'm with it. I feel like some of the things that I'm thinking, I said last year. I said these things last year, and I don't know if people just weren't ready to like hear them, or I get it. You want to give him more time and all that. Heck, I thought Auburn could have a good season this year. And that's always been my thing with Hugh Freeze. I never said my thing with Hugh Freeze was always, could he pop up and win 10 at Auburn? Yeah, because he can recruit. But there's just the consistency from him is not there on the offensive side of the ball. And we do have to kind of separate it because Durkin runs the defense. They've been pretty good. So it's like I can't really say the team. I sort of have to just say what Hugh Freeze is mainly in charge of, and that's the offense. And there's just, from the time he got here, a lack of consistency, whether it's turnovers, whether it's penalties, whether it's critical down situations, third downs, or late in the game, or whatever. It is consistently inconsistent over and over and over again. And
yeah, you had raised a lot of concerns, because
people talking about like the quarterback thing right now. They're going, there's a lot of things wrong. I'm like, yeah, I was yelling that from the mountaintops last year to stop throwing the entire world on Peyton Thorne, that there was issues all over the place that go to preparation and execution. And you're seeing it. Peyton Thorne's gone. You're seeing so many of the same things.
I would take Peyton Thorne over Jackson right now. I'll be honest. When I start looking at the PFF data, he had many more big time throws this point in the season last year. And I know that Peyton he'll make some mistakes.
Yeah.
And he was very turnover prone early last season. I think it was kind of just a fluke, but because he's not really that guy. But I liked Peyton Thorne, and I like Jackson too. But he is so scared to make a mistake, and I don't think Peyton really was. And I think I'd rather have somebody that is willing to make a mistake than somebody who's just scared all the time. Jackson really showed up yesterday, man. Like, I think he was 1 of 6 on throws over 10 yards. That's not even trying, man. It's not even like he's not throwing downfield at all. And he had a couple more situations where, like, specifically Malcolm in that 3 receiver set would go on a fly route and be wide open, and he doesn't even look at him. I don't know. I think Jackson's really tentative right now. And I think there's a lot of potential to be unlocked there. I don't think he's a bad player, but he certainly seems scared to me. And I mean, dude, you can't go to war with a scared quarterback. I don't think he's scared. Like, he's willing to put his shoulder in there and run. Yeah, I'm talking about making decisions in the passing game. He's just scared. And I would have played Ashton yesterday, honestly. Not because he needs to be demoted, but because I need to see what Ashton can do. He's a senior. He's played a lot of football. If he's willing to pull the trigger and throw some passes, I know he's got some ability. He might be a better fit for what they're doing right now. I don't know. Again, I'm not trying to say Jackson needs to go. I know he's playing his butt off, and I know he's got talent, and I know he cares, and I know he's a good runner. He's doing a lot of good things great. But throw the ball, bro. He's got to throw the ball. He's got to stop being so scared. They can't win like this. Can't do it. Can't do it.
So the AP poll's coming out. Not that matters for Auburn fans.
Just get fired.
What?
Not that.
I'm also like watching you give just super serious takes in your Raiders.
What, man?
It's cracking me up.
I have to be a Raiders fan, dude, because like we've been covering Auburn so long. It starts to die out a little bit, because it's just like Auburn is such a job for us. It's actually a job for us. And so
yeah. It is different.
You get deadened. And so I had to pick an NFL team and start caring. And it's just the way I stay committed,
I love it. I probably need that. I've always been a Niners fan, but it's been real casual. So I probably need to get maybe more diehard.
Yeah, I kind of hate the Niners, but that's cool.
You are right, though, by the way. I wish people understood how we sort of view covering this stuff versus fans watching it. It is very different. Like we have lives outside of outside of covering it that are far more important than what we're covering.
But we do
Yeah,
care about. We do care
yeah.
about doing a good job and
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, yeah,
investment.
very much.
Yeah, we like to see Auburn do well. That's the problem. It's been a long time.
God, I know it has. I don't know that I ever thought about a quarterback change yesterday. I mean, he's certainly not. I don't know what the deal is with seeing the field. I was sent a couple of screenshots from people watching the game yesterday that were like, I guess I don't know. They watched a replay and they paused it, and there was a couple that were like, "Oh boy!" I mean, there was one that was like, "There's literally 3 dudes that sat down that are open. There's 3 different people." So I don't know. I don't know if he's not keeping his eyes downfield once he starts moving, or what he's seeing. But I don't know. But we heard that last year. Like Freeze come out and say, "There's guys open. There's people open. There's all this stuff that's there. If only they could execute." And I'm like, well, at what point is that on you? Like, I mean, it's always, I don't know. But I'll give him credit. I blasted Freeze at times last year because I thought he liked to push the blame off. He didn't do that against A&M. I mean, he knew exactly what he needed to say, which was on me, on the staff. I mean, 100%. Literally said it's not on Jackson, it's on us.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
It is good. It's a learning. I wish he'd have done that more last year. He said some I thought crazy stuff last year. Really putting other players, namely Peyton Thorne, under the bus. Say what you did. You're the dude getting paid millions of dollars. Just say it's on me, and then go into practice and tell Jackson in a room that's on you. Like, deal with it that way, but publicly go, that's on me, because ultimately it is. So I like how he handled it. I just, he said that he felt like they're close, and it's like my opinion is it might feel like you're close as a team because the defense is over there making it close. The defense is doing their job. And so you're losing a game 16-10 or 24-17, and you're like, we're close. Well, no. The defense is close. You're not close. The defense is, you're not. If anything, the trend of issues on offense makes me feel like you're not actually close. You're really, really far away. When you see it happen over, whether you go to whatever game, pick a game from the last 2.5 years. When it happens all the time, then you go, okay, there's something structurally wrong here. Like, this isn't like if we just clean this one thing up. There's so many things over so many games that go wrong that it goes back to my overall arching point, which I've said forever. It's just something in Hugh Freeze is inconsistent as a coach, the way he prepares, the approach, the level of detail. There's just inconsistency littered throughout constantly, game after game, big games. And to go, well, we're close, I don't buy it. There's nothing. What's your evidence to go, like actual evidence from an offensive standpoint? I mean, for every point you could maybe try to make, I could probably make 10 the other way. I don't think they're close. So there's way too many inconsistencies about how they've operated for 2 years to make me think they're close. The defense is playing well, and the defense has kept you in some games. But if not for the defense, you wouldn't feel close at all because you're not doing your job on the offensive side of the ball.
Agree. I can do it. Give you my ideas pretty quickly, pretty succinctly. I don't think he has any balls anymore. I think that he's become a much more developed man through the travails from the Ole Miss fallout and then his time at Liberty. I think he's a better man, and I think he's got a lot of good qualities. But to be a really good play caller in this league at this level, you've got to have big balls, and he doesn't have any. And he's just lost his gall. I don't know. He just seems impotent when it comes to play calling. I think he's a great recruiter. We all know that. I think he's got a good culture here. I think the culture at Auburn's good. I think it's positive. I think that's why you're hearing they're so close, because he just talks positive. And there's a lot to that. Positive talk can breed positive reactions. It's true. I mean, I have 2 degrees in psychology, so maybe I'm a little more into that than other people are. But when you speak positively, people get a positive expectation. I understand that. So I think he really believes they are close, Hoke. Of course, me and you, they don't look close to me at all on offense. And I guess he thought that Jackson maybe would be the special sauce that would be able to make things better. But we're starting to learn that that's not enough. And in fact, I would probably take Peyton over Jackson at this point. I really would. I don't know why Peyton. You and me are the same in that we thought Peyton got shit on way too much last year.
Way too much.
Way too much. And I think Jackson's almost getting a pass this year for some reason because he was a 5-star when he came out of high school, unlike Peyton. I think that's part of it because he's played demonstrably no worse than Peyton. But they're about the same. He's a better runner. Peyton's was willing to throw the ball downfield more.
Yeah, I think the only differences are, one, Peyton arrived with more experience. He arrived with multiple years at Michigan State, so you felt like he should be further along probably. Two, you mentioned it. Jackson's a 5-star high school All-American, whatever. So you're trying to give him. You're kind of looking at him like you might be viewing him as he's just better because he's a 5-star, even though you look at the stats and go, he's not better, and say, well, no, but he's a 5-star. So there's a little bit of that. Maybe people are thinking, yeah, but he can be maybe a little better runner. And I think the other thing that makes you think that Jackson is playing far better than Peyton Thorne is the turnovers, the interceptions, where he doesn't have any.
That's true.
But again, not to rehash last year, but if you're totally fair, a bunch of those interceptions were not on Peyton Thorne. I said it over and over again last year, and people just wanted to lump them all in there. There were drops. There were wrong routes. So, yeah, Peyton Thorne had a few last year, especially early, but they were not all on him either. If you'd have taken away the interceptions that weren't Peyton's fault, his numbers would have looked very different early and even more different throughout the season. So, like, just to say that again. So, yeah I think Jackson has avoided the turnovers. That's probably the biggest thing, but he could have 3. Let's also be real. He had 2 against OU and 1 against A&M that literally hit the defender in the hands. He easily could have 3 interceptions right now. That's just being fair. That's just being absolutely fair. He could have 3 picks on the board right now, and you'd be viewing him. I mean, think about if Peyton threw one last year and the DB just happened to drop it, and he didn't have a couple of those.
Yeah.
I mean, so Jackson's got 3 that could be on the board for him right now.
If Jackson did have 3 picks right now, would we have seen Ashton by now? I think we would have.
You think so?
I do. I think if the turnovers weren't so good, he's so pristine with his turnovers, Jackson is, but that's part of the problem, right? It's that he's too careful and he can't get anything done because all he's doing is throwing screens or he's tucking and running, you know?
Yeah. And I don't know how to fix that. I literally asked Jackson that question on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
I literally said, how do you deal? You had a meeting with Freeze. How do you deal with trying to be more aggressive while also making the right read and not turning the ball over? But you want to be more aggressive. Like that's what it is to be a quarterback, first of all. But that is not easy to know to know when to do it. I mean, it's split-second decisions. And he kind of just said a lot of it's instinct and intuition. And he said a lot of it was trusting his receivers. That was his comment last week was, I need to trust them and take a shot. We didn't see any change. That shocked me. I really thought, as poorly as it went in Norman, I really thought, okay, the sacks are glaring. Holding on to the ball is so glaring that everybody will be on the same page in addressing it, and we'll see something different in College Station. Like, everybody saw it. Jackson can't hide from it. We all acknowledge it. And I just thought it was so obvious that we would see something different in College Station. And instead, we saw the exact same thing, if not worse. I mean, they had the one play to Singleton. That's the only explosive play in the entire game. Is Singleton having to go over a defender and make a circus catch. That's it. It's the only big play in the game for them. So I don't know. You bring up Jackson Arnold. I don't know. Hugh Freeze is getting all the fire. And so I really haven't thought about assessing Jackson Arnold, specifically his play and whether a quarterback change should be made. I'm not there. I really haven't thought about it that hard. I wouldn't just because it's kind of like last year. Look at the offensive line is playing like garbage.
They did change last year. Remember they played Hank, and I think it was the fourth game.
And I thought it was a mistake. I thought you screwed up the Arkansas game. I thought you could have won that one. And you screwed it up by playing him in the first half. He throws 3 picks. You blew that game. And then and then you toss Peyton back in there. All right, go try to salvage everything. I just it's again when we assess Jackson, The offensive line's played terrible. So many penalties. Connor Lew is supposed to be your stud center, and I'm watching him get run by. I mean, the whole group, and it's the same stuff last year. I harped on this last year. The amount of mistakes that the offensive line made last year, I know people don't see that as much. There were tons of them, tons of missed blocks, or they don't communicate right on a twist, or a blitzer comes free, or it happened all the time last year. There were mistakes across the board, and here we are again. Every single one of them is making mistakes, and so does Jackson need to do things differently? Sure. But that offensive line, for the most experienced group in the SEC, one of the most experienced groups in the college football in terms of total games played, has been a massive disappointment.
Yeah. If I was Jake Thornton, I'd be nervous right now because I think that he's going to need a scapegoat. If they lose to Georgia, he's going to need a scapegoat, and it's going to be Jake Thornton. And then he's going to – I mean, I'm telling you, he could do that 100%. Fire Jake Thornton and then promote Darren and then move on, you know? That would give some people some feeling that there's accountability for it. I don't know, man. It's ugly, dude.
It's bad. And I mean –
hasn't been this bad since 2012, Hogue, at Auburn anyway.
What's funny is I was sitting here. I should have screenshotted them. I was curious because it was the quickest way I could think, because, I mean, I cover the team and I'm constantly putting quotes out from Hugh Freeze on X, right? So I go to my profile and I literally just search on my profile. I search Freeze offense awful or mess. And I'm just like, man, I mean, or, you know, or what, like, the amount of time, go back to 2023. Oh, here's a quote. Hugh Freeze, defense played well, offense completely awful. You know, it's like just the amount of times over 23, 24, where I'm covering a press conference or I'm covering post game, and I'm seeing something from Freeze along the lines of the offense is a mess, or we got to play better, or it's kind of discombobulated. Heck, go back to August, man. Let's go back to 6 weeks ago when I got on the board and I posted about a scrimmage and I said the offense was not very good. They gave up double-digit sacks and it was really bad. And then you had some other people that put some reports out that it was like, no, it was actually really good. It was really competitive and the offense it was really nice. And everybody thought I was making a big deal about it. Like, or I was, well, here we are. Offense getting shredded. Offensive line can't block, giving up 15 sacks in 2 games, can't throw downfield, which is one of the things that we talked about in August from what people were telling us. Downfield passing was just a mess. Hugh Freeze did acknowledge that after we talked to him after that close scrimmage. He did say downfield passing's got to get better. And here we are. Like, so much of the stuff we're seeing, either Freeze acknowledged it or we heard about it in August, if you were willing to read it and pay attention and not gloss over it.
Yeah, I just think this is so much on the coaching. I think he's lost his grasp on how to outfox defensive coordinators. We've seen this in reverse before. Well, we've seen it both ways, actually, because I think Gus lost it a little bit toward the end of his time at Auburn. And I think Gene Chizik lost it when he was the head coach at Auburn, and their defense was all they had going for them was turnovers, really, back in the championship season and after that.
Yeah.
Why couldn't Gene do it? Why couldn't Gene fix this defensive problem that they had? Mm-hmm. Because he'd lost his grip. He was a 4-3 guy in a college situation where offenses were evolving quickly and 4-3 was becoming passe, and he quickly got to a point where he was out of his depth. I think it's really hard to stay on top of things as a coach. I really do. You look at Chip Kelly, who was amazing at Oregon, right? And then it kind of slipped away from him, and he went to the NFL, and it didn't work, and all of a sudden he's a dumbass, right? But then he works his way back to Ohio State, incorporating more run concepts, and they won a national title with him as OC. So you've got to really dig deep to try to keep up with the times, and I don't think Hugh's doing that. But he's a pretty good golfer, though.
Oh, here we go.
Man, I had to.
Here we go. It's a bye week. Listen.
Yeah.
It's a bye week. If you don't think Hugh Freeze is going to be on that golf course once or twice, you are sorely mistaken.
Once or twice a day, yeah.
Mistaken. I mean, yeah, you bring up a good point. But he made that call, right? That was the whole narrative, was when he took the job, I'm not going to be the play caller. I'm going to be the head coach. We got NIL. I got to manage. I want to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And one season of it just being it going horribly with Philip Montgomery. And now Freeze is like, I got to get back in it. I got to get back into calling plays. I got to get back involved. And here we are. And I think you make a good point. I don't know that there's that many great examples of right now of head coaches that call plays. I mean, Billy Napier does that, right? It's not going well. It's hard to do. And again, I'm like beating my head against a wall because I feel like I'm repeating myself, and I don't want to sit here and repeat myself. But I would go on radio shows in August and talk about fall camp, and they would go, "What do you think about the 3 play caller situation?" I go, "That's not really my concern, because in reality, Saturdays, it's pretty much all Hugh Freeze. My concern is that he is the head coach, trying to do head coaching things throughout the week, but he's trying to be the play caller on Saturday. And when you're the head coach during the week, you cannot be involved in every single little thing offensively. He's not going to be in every meeting. He's going to miss a quarterback meeting. He's going to miss an offensive meeting. Maybe he's in a defensive meeting. Maybe he's recruiting, whatever." And I go, my biggest issue is when you miss important offensive meetings, or Kent Austin and Derek Nix and Jackson Arnold have a meeting and you're not in, are you going to know every single thing that was said in that meeting? Come Saturday, is it going to be like you were in everything? You didn't miss a thing. Is it going to be like that? And my concern was always no, because we saw it happen last year. He would then show up and it's Saturday to call plays. And I just don't like you. You're the primary play caller, but you're the head coach during the week. I don't like that dynamic. I don't see how it adds up. And you just see the lack of preparation. Like watching a Durkin defense in practice and a Hugh Freeze offense in practice, watching them in games, it's like 2 different teams.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think the head coach should be calling plays, and I don't know why he's qualified to call plays. I haven't seen any evidence that he's a good play caller. It's been a while. And I keep thinking about TCU. That doesn't have a lot to do with Auburn, but you've got Sonny Dykes, who's an offensive coordinator, okay, and he's got Kendall Briles as his offensive coordinator at TCU. I should say Sonny Dykes came to power as an OC anyway. He lets Kendall do what he wants. Kendall calls the plays. Kendall puts everything together. And counter to what you were saying, Kendall is in every meeting at TCU. And I know you're saying, TCU. I'm saying it's one example of a really good offensive team. The head coach just kind of watches. He's got other things to do. I wish that Hugh had an offensive coordinator that he trusted, who understood the cutting edge stuff that's going on in offense right now. But instead, it's got him, he's not qualified to do this job. He's got D-Nix, who I don't know if he is or he isn't. And then Kent, who's like, I don't know what he is. He's taking a circuitous route to where he's at too. So like, I don't know.
Quality human being is what he is. Ken Austin is
not shitting on him personally.
No, I know. I'm saying it.
I like D-Nix too, but it's just dudes that have just been with Hugh for a really long time, and I don't see.
No, it's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is, because you got to remember what happened after the first year, where you have Zach and Carnell leave. His goal going into last year was, I need a staff that's like my people. There's just loyalty throughout. I don't want to get into all that stuff in the past, but I'm just saying that's why D-Nix was brought. He has no OC experience. Derek Nix is not, Alabama wouldn't hire Derek Nix as their offensive coordinator. Georgia wouldn't, like none of those people. He was brought in because he knows Hugh. He's loyal. He's a good recruiter, and he can hire him as the OC, and Freeze could take back over play calling. Like it made all the sense in the world for Freeze. I'm going to call plays. I'm going to hire you as the OC. You get a promotion, but you're also loyal to me. You can recruit. You know my stuff. And you're there. I'm never going to have to hear anything from Derek Nix be like, hey, you hired me to be the OC, because Derek Nix knew the deal. Yeah. I'm coming in to be the OC. You're calling plays. He knew the deal and was ready to go along with it, regardless of what Freeze said publicly.
Well, it sucks because he put his faith in Hugh to be a good play caller and sequencer, and he's not good at it. There's no evidence that he's good at it either. It's not like he suddenly just had a couple bad games. I'm not sure they've called a great game this year. The Baylor game worked, but it was kind of weird. I mean, Jackson was like this running, overwhelming rushing element that I don't think they planned on him being. And
didn't even pass for. I guess they passed for over 100 in that game.
What does Auburn do anything that impresses anybody on offense? They don't. I mean, they don't have unusual passing concepts.
Nope.
they're just running inside zone, basic shit that we were doing 15 years ago. I mean, there's nothing unusual.
The whole offense, it's why it's always it's very much like what Gus would do. They're different in ways, but in general, it's very much simplistic in its nature. In that the RPO, the whole point, and I've always struggled with this because I can see both sides, but the whole point of it is, in theory, the defense is never right. In theory, whatever they line up to do, we're going to do the thing that they're not lined up to defend. So, like in theory, you load the box, I'm pulling it, and I'm throwing a slant behind you. If you drop back, Baylor, I'm just giving it. If the defensive end crashes it, oh, now I'm pulling it and I'm running around you. Like in theory, the defense should be never wrong, except for the fact that when you do that, and I don't know, I'm not an offensive coordinator, you're giving the power to the defense. You're saying in theory they're never going to be right, but you're also giving them the power because you're dictating what you do. They get to dictate what you do. So if they know that's how you operate, then now they know we get to dictate what they do. So now I know that if I load the box, they're going to pull it. Like, to me, now you know the whole operation. It's like I don't like giving the power to the defense to control what my play calling is. And I understand sometimes it's take what they give you. I get that sometimes. But if you got like Cam Coleman or Malcolm Simmons or Eric Singleton, or if you got Jeremiah Cobb, who's a talented back, sometimes it screw what the defense is doing. He's been sacked 7 times. I'm running the football. I'm running the ball. Like I got to do some things that we do well, or I think that we do well. I got to do those things. And it's just time and time again, I feel like the defense gets to dictate what they do. And it's just like you have yesterday. I mean, 8 combined carries for the running backs is coaching malpractice. I mean, they had, of those 8 carries from Cobb and Austin, 6 went for 5 yards or more. I get you were behind the chain some. But 33 passes from Jackson. A&M, dude, we talked about this. Texas San Antonio ran for 200 yards on A&M. Texas San Antonio ran for 207 yards on Texas A&M. They did not come into this game with this brick wall of a rushing defense.
Not at all.
So anyway, that was a big thing about the RPO. I get it in theory. It's like, it sounds great, but man, I think we're beyond that to where it just, there's so many decisions have to be made, man. And it just continuously doesn't work. And you go away from the things maybe you should do, and you let the defense just sort of dictate everything you do. And I don't know. I don't love hearing Freeze say after the game, well, it's RPO, and I thought Arnold made the right decision. Like, that's what we're going to do every game. You're going to call a run, but then the defense gets to dictate what you do, and then Arnold's going to pull it and throw it, and you're going to go, well, that's the offense. Well, you called a run. You wanted to run the ball right there. And he makes a call, and it's incomplete pass, and it's just, I don't know. I'm over it as well. I'm over the RPO stuff as well. I get that in theory it should work. So I'm like, I'm not trying to be smarter than an offensive coordinator, but it just constantly looks like a mess. The same thing with Gus, man. When it would be bad, it was atrocious. There's no middle ground. Like either you hit some big plays and it works, or it's just time and time again against really stout defenses. It is tough sledding. And that's my concern now. A&M and Oklahoma, 2 of the better defenses you're going to face. I get that. They're 7th and 8th in the country right now. But Georgia's defense will be really good. Bama's defense will be really good. I mean, heck, and you got some of these other teams that will be competitive on that side of the ball. So I don't know. Where do you go from here?
I'm with you. They've got to establish some kind of a baseline offensive concept. There just has to be one. So, like, there's got to be something they're good at. Like, you can't build responses to defensive stuff if you don't start with what we do best. Figure that out. I'd like to ask you, what do you think you do best? And he'd probably give us some word salad. Well, we're run RPO team and blah, 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 blah. I'm talking about what we actually see on Saturdays. What do they do well? I don't know. I can't really answer that right now. I feel like their run game, Justin, is good. I mean, almost 5 yards a carry yesterday. Didn't do enough of it. Still ran the ball pretty effectively. The reason they didn't run more, I think, Hogue, is what you mentioned at the top of the show, is that they had so many first and second down penalties, which always put you behind the chains, and you're just screwed right there.
Yeah.
It's offensive line discipline for the most part, but I don't know. I don't know what they do. If a friend of mine who didn't cover Auburn or know about Auburn say, what does Auburn do? I go, I don't know. I don't. I feel like they're just throwing darts at a dartboard, and there's no baseline performance. Okay, we're going to run inside zone and then build from there. We're going to run play action and build from there. There's nothing. It's just random. It's weak. And I think it's for the reasons you mentioned. They're too worried about trying to outfox the defense based on what the defense is doing. That requires, first of all, you got to trust Jackson to make the right decision all the time. And second of all, it means as a coach that you're thinking along with the defense in real time and you've got answers to everything, which I also don't think is happening. So it's just a failed concept to me. And I think that's why he's cooked. I think he knows he's cooked too. I really do. I think he knew this had to be a big season, and it's not going to be a big season.
Yeah, and I think you said it well, and kind of what you said it, and I agree. It's a yes, of course you try to, like, if the defense is doing something, yes, you pay attention to what they're doing, but at some point you go, what do we do? We're going to do what we do well. We're going to do what we do well, and too many times it feels like it's whatever they want us to do, we're going to do like the opposite. And that's a weird, it feels like a backwards way to go about it. Like, I understand again in theory why you're like, well, that should work. But time and time again, it's just not.
Yeah, I think that's a piece of data a coach should use, and it should not be the basis of your entire attack.
Yeah, you mentioned the season. I mean, look, they're sitting there at 2 losses. Look, if we look big picture, if somebody went, well, Auburn's going to lose at OU and A&M. Like, well, most teams would. Most teams are losing both those games probably. It's just the way they happen and how bad the offensive look, especially in College Station. What's funny is after Norman, after Oklahoma, I came away from that game saying, I don't think any less of this team, honestly. Yes, they made some mistakes and they missed a couple of big plays to Cam Coleman, but they didn't even reach their 100 yards. But I still thought there were some things there that they missed. They fought pretty hard. I'm like, that's something to build on. I don't feel that. I mean, A&M, that offensive performance is way different. That doesn't leave you walking away going, oh, if they can just clean this thing up or this thing up. That was just such a debacle that now you look ahead of the season and go, I don't know. I said 9-3. That seems like an absolute, pipe dream at this point. I don't see how that happens. I mean, 8-4 at this point would be fantastic considering what you just saw in College Station. I'm not sure how you get there exactly, but you got a bye week. Wouldn't shock me at all. Would not shock me at all to go play Georgia off their feet, and that game's anybody's game with 8 minutes left. Matter of fact, I almost expect it. Bye week. Freeze is, he's shown at times he can dial some things up. He has. He's just not consistent. I've never said he can't put something together every now and then. Shock me at all.
It's a little misleading to say this, but I mean, they had a chance, Auburn did, with about 5 minutes to go at Oklahoma, where if they drive the field and score a touchdown, it's a problem. I mean, they're right back in the game. And this one yesterday, I think 2.5 minutes to go, they had a chance for a touchdown drive that could have won the game. We all had no faith in them actually getting that done, and they didn't get it done, but they had an opportunity. So I agree with you. I think they'll have a chance against Georgia. I do. Night game, Jordan-Hare. Georgia's not as good as they've been. They're fans. I watched their post-game show last night. They're pissed too. They're disgusted with Kirby being unable to beat Alabama.
Oh man, or something. That's unbelievable. They cannot beat them. 10 of 11. Bama's won 10 of 11 against Georgia. I think Auburn's lost 15 of 16.
Auburn's not crazy against Georgia either.
Yeah, it's the complete opposite. So I don't know where we go from here. I guess I would say the big picture, there's certainly more heat. We knew entering year 3, this was different than last year. Fans were mad last year at how things were going. And yes, there was concern from people that quote unquote matter, but it was year 2. So it was like, we were always going to get to year 3 at least, but now we're in year 3 and you see that. And I would say, I don't know what the conversation will be if they go get beat 27-10 by Georgia.
I think
that's not going to be a pleasant. That's not going to be a pleasant one.
He'd have to go. I think he'd have to go. And I think you got to go with DJ the rest of the second half of the season.
You think Cohen is the type of AD that would pull the trigger?
If they're not competitive against Georgia, I think it's got to go. I don't know if Cohen is or he isn't. We're still got to try to figure that out.
Yeah.
He hadn't had to make any really tough calls. I mean, I think the basketball thing kind of got put in his lap, and he predates, or, I should say Hugh predates him, really. So he hasn't had to make a big decision in football either. He reminds me of the kind of guy that would be quick to pull it. But I guess the question would be, okay, is it worthwhile to have him finish the season because we're going to owe him $16 million either way?
Man,
I personally would want to see if DJ could get this thing going, but then who's going to call plays? D Nix has never called plays. Kent hasn't called plays. I mean, who's calling plays?
Does it matter? I'm just kidding.
It does, because I think this thing can be unscrewed.
Fan vote on the new North End scoreboard.
Fan vote. Let's talk about scoreboards.
It's a huge scoreboard. Put ABCD, real time. just put the plays in 4 boxes.
Boy, Jay and Justin really tackling the hard topics here. I know it's just early for me to be thinking that a coach ought to go, but I think
I know it
he looks so beleaguered and tired, man.
Looked like that last year. He's looked like that for a long time.
It's so bad, dude. If he doesn't care, then let's just move on. I don't know that he cares that much. I really don't. He cares about the culture. He cares about being a good tutor to these kids. He cares a lot. I think that's the most important part of his job now from him. And it's very, very valuable. But you've got to go out there and win ball games. And if he just had an offensive coordinator that actually was innovative and had complete control of what he runs, whatever this person runs, I think they'd be fine. I think it would work like this.
That's the only culture. That's the only interesting dynamic of this is, and we can take it one game at a time. I don't want to get crazy. I mean, it was bad, no doubt, but we're in year 3 and I get all that. But I do wonder, if Freeze is behind the scenes, if let's just say let's say Georgia didn't go well and Cohen's going, okay. And I wonder if there's conversations of, all right, I'll listen. Everything, culture, all these things are improving, and I would agree with you. Culture is pretty good. Recruiting's going well. If he says, listen, all right, fine, I'm out as OC. I'm out. I will hire a legitimate, bona fide OC. I am out. I will not call another play. That's the deal. I do not get to take back play calling next year or the next year. I am not the OC anymore. I will hire an OC. If Cohen would go, okay, but this is like your last shot, or if he goes, nah, you tried that and you took it back over and now here we are, or if he'd go, okay, that's the only thing that can get you another year is stepping back from that.
We're already there. I feel like this year already was that get things straightened out situation. And I've seen this happen with Gus too, man. When Chip Lindsey got hired, I was like, oh, Chip's going to run it. And then
it had a good year. 17 was great. And then 18, you lost some talented players, and then he took it back in 19.
I would argue he never gave it up, but
in 17, it felt a little different. But I mean, yes, to some degree, yes. And that's what you'd have with Hugh probably is that'd be the thing. It'd have to be such a legitimate OC hire that Hugh couldn't. Like it'd be like an OC that's like, you're not coming to my room. Like I've done this I'm too successful that like it's not happening, And I don't know if Hugh's capable. I think maybe, but he would. But if he thought the job was on the line, but yeah, I'm with you. I don't know what to think of this thing. I think Hugh looks just. His post-game press conference was as defeated as he's ever looked. I mean, just I don't know. I don't know if he knows how to fix it at all. So
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think he thinks he's still good. I mean, I get it. Like he's always been that guy. He's always relied on himself and doubled down on himself and at Liberty, it works, but this is basically the NFL here. I mean, there's tons of NFL players in this league. These are some of the best coaches in the country. I mean, the bottom of the SEC is come up so far in the last 20 years. I mean, dude, Vanderbilt's a problem now. I'm looking at this schedule, brother. Like, how many games is Auburn going to be favored in? Like, not Georgia, Missouri's playing much better football than I thought they would this year. That's going to be tough because it's Jordan Hare, but they'll be a favorite at Arkansas, a favorite against Kentucky, a favorite against Mercer. And I think that's it, bro.
Yeah, I would say the Missouri game would be pretty close to a pick 'em. I mean, I think because you're at home, maybe you're a 2-point favorite or 1 or 2 points. I mean, but it won't be anything meaning. Nobody will go into that game going like, well, Auburn's the favorite and they should win. Like that won't be the feeling. I mean,
Missouri would beat this team by 15 points right now as it stands. Now, I'm not this team, this Auburn team doesn't have to stay like this, but the product that we saw at Texas A&M would lose to Missouri by 15 points. Missouri's playing pretty good football, man. And Eli, I trust a lot more than Hugh to call a good game, which is crazy. Because you remember Eli, man, he was like GA back once upon a time.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being too down on him. I don't mean to be, man. I really don't. Because I like
Hugh.
Yeah, I feel like I'm being too hard on Hugh, but
I don't. I saw somebody hit me up, like somebody replied on X, and they were like, "It's just a law. It's 2 top 10 teams. What's the I'm like, no. First of all, that offensive performance was so pitiful. It deserves that performance alone deserves every bit of the reaction it's getting. Number one, but it's not just that performance. It is Cal, his first year on the road, that was an absolute just garbage offensive performance that you somehow won. And then it's just a bunch of other ones. It's 7 or 14, whatever they did against Cal last year. It's missed opportunities in Oklahoma and Arkansas, and you score a touchdown against Vanderbilt at home, and you get shut out basically in the second half of Missouri last year, and you blow that lead, and New Mexico State dog walks you. And I mean, it just like there's so many now that you're just like, it's not just one. It's not just one. It's a bunch of inconsistent. In some of those games, they had a bunch of yards, but they had a bunch of turnovers. Or another game, they don't have a lot of yards, and like, it's just always something that leads to just this discombobulated effort on offense. And here we are with quarterback number 2, and we're seeing some of the same things. And I don't know. I've said it since last fall that Hugh Freeze is a good recruiter. Everything else about him, he's inconsistent as a coach and a preparer and a developer and all that stuff. And you're going to get inconsistent results. So I thought maybe they'd win 9. They could definitely, they could have won 9 last year, or like you're seeing, they might win 6. Like, who knows with Hugh Freeze? You really never know.
Yeah, but his short game is getting a lot better. Oh my gosh. I know, dude. I'm not even one of those guys that makes fun of the golf thing, but it's just like, dude, if your offense is going to be this bad, you should have been working on this in the summer.
Yeah. Well, now he's not. Now he's not putting his scores in, so he can't get stories publicly written about him. But he's still playing. Don't worry. Listen.
Yeah, me and you're going to go out to the 16th tomorrow and catch him on the way through.
We're not going to get him on our normal Monday presser, so we might as well get his thoughts on the Ryder Cup. Anything else?
I mean, I think we've pretty much covered all that.
Yeah.
Got a week off. Probably not going to lose that. And then you got Georgia, who looked kind of good and kind of bad against Alabama last night. A really weird decision to not kick a field goal with about 8 minutes to go. I don't know what they were doing there.
Was that the 4th down? They got tackled.
4th and 1, yeah.
I hate rushing up to the line on 4th and run. I feel like I see that fail unless it's a quarterback sneak. I don't love sprinting to the line and trying to rush a play because I feel like the defense knows the snap count. Like they're going as soon as the ball moves, they're going. I don't know.
Kirby's getting pooped on for that, and they lost by 3. You hate it. You just hate to see it, don't you?
And that dude dropped a touchdown on another drive.
So did Ryan Williams.
He did, but they at least, I think, didn't they score on that? So they got it back. I don't know. Yeah, Georgia's good. I mean, look, they're
good.
They're still Georgia, but I'll say it right now. I mean, I'm 2 weeks out. I mean, second half of that game, late third quarter, maybe early fourth quarter, Auburn's going to be right there. They're going to have a chance to win that game. They will.
That's like saying if I'm within 25 feet of Cindy Crawford, I've got a chance. I mean,
no. That's like 50. I mean, you're in the fourth quarter. You're talking about a possession or two here and the game's over. I mean, like we're down to the wire where if I make one good drive, I can win this thing. I mean, I think that the fourth quarter, you'd be looking up where they're down 7, down 3, whatever. We got a shot here. I don't know. It could be wrong. If I'm wrong, then things are really, really bad at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still some talent on this Auburn team. So
For sure. Talent's not the problem. I think it's orchestrating the talent, and that's 100% on the head coach.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. I don't know if I've ever really thought that about a coach here before, where I thought everything was because of the head coach. But I think that right now they've got players, Justin. We all know that.
They do.
Not a talent problem.
Yeah. The end of Chiswick, well, there's a lot on Chiswick. I felt like
culture problem there.
But that started with him. I mean,
100%.
he was doing a horrific job.
Horrible. And he was not doing a horrible job on that part.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't. There's, and that'll be the interesting dynamic of when. And who knows? I don't know what Cohen's doing right now. I don't know if he's seriously thinking about this as us. I would imagine he's getting some texts and phone calls of like, "Hey, what are you thinking? I'm sure some people are trying to gauge where he's at, for sure. I don't know that anybody's beating down his door right now, like make a change, but I'm sure there's some important people going, "Where's your head at? Where's your head at?" That's probably happening right now.
He's got to have a list. You always got to have a list.
Yeah. All right. I don't know what else to say about this game. Bummer for how it went. I really was okay. Not okay, but like if they'd have lost this game, but you come out going, not bad, lost it, but like, okay, go to Georgia. But just I hate that it went so south, just like some of those other games have gone. Didn't see that coming. Worst offensive performance in the Freeze era. Worst yardage total in like 8 years of Auburn football. Worst third down percentage in 20 years.
0 for
12. I think they got one on penalty, but the stats still say 0 for. But either way, they did not convert a third down. And again, it's because like I wrote about in the advanced stats, but they faced 9 3rd and 9s. The last 2 weeks, they have faced 17 3rd and 9 or more situations, and they've converted 1. They're 1 in 17. But just the fact that they've faced 17 3rd and 9 plus in the last 2 games it's all you need to know. If you have to go, if you're facing 17 of those in 2 games, that is all you need to know about how the offense is probably going in those 2 games.
Dude, Alabama was 12 and 19 on third down last night.
Incredible. They
didn't convert one.
They were incredible. Yeah, over. And listen, A&M was like 3 of 14. Like that's where Auburn played well. Auburn gave up some yards, but when it mattered, they buckled down on some third downs and they kept them in there. Man, Xavier Atkins, we got to give him a shout out. Jeez.
Yeah, he was in the stock risers for sure again. Man, he's just all over the place. He did have 4 missed tackles yesterday, which led the team, but he did a lot of good things too.
Yeah, I'll overlook it. I'll overlook it on this case.
Yeah, for sure. He just plays like a man with his hair on fire. I love it.
Yeah.
Brings a lot of juice.
All right, we'll get out of here. We went a little bit long, but obviously a lot to talk about. All right, we'll catch you at auburnsports.com this week. A lot to do. Bye week, yeah, so I don't think we'll get Freeze on Monday. I wouldn't expect. I don't imagine. Maybe some players during the week, but not sure what that's going to look like. So maybe a little bit of reduced coverage in that capacity at auburnsports.com.
Do some basketball maybe.
Last week was busy. Yeah, last week was busy. So that'll settle down. The basketball practice is going on. We're 2 weeks from a dang exhibition game, man.
Is that right? Yeah, we are on the 15th, right?
Crazy. Yeah, Oklahoma State in Birmingham.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. All right. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Turn notifications. Thanks to JG Tate. I am Justin Hokanson. We'll see you guys on the bunker, on the corner at auburnsports.com. See ya.